So, again, the heart in this man. One of the things I want to tell you too is when I've seen the voice actor panels in San Diego, it's very obvious is they're all talented, but every industry has its ego. And none of the people that were on the dais at the time with him had any jealousy. They all celebrated each other's talents. And that was what came across to me tremendously. And I would say that that's probably one of the big reasons Maurice is still working. You don't hear a bad word from anybody in the creative field about Maurice. You only hear, oh, what a great guy, that kind of thing. You know, any field, you're going to find people that are afraid of somebody else's talent. And by turning around and celebrating someone else's talent, it actually frees you up to be more creative yourself.
Yeah, I think in voiceover too, there's no room for ego because, like I said, nobody knows who you are. Your characters were famous, and there's always some company behind that. I mean, it's, you know, Pinky and the Brain is owned by Warner Brothers. You know, Kith Morbo, Lur, and all the, you know, Calculon, all the characters in Futurama, owned by Fox and Matt Groening's company. So, you know, you're just a contributor, and you're there to just help the cartoon go forward. You're helping those frames flip by with sound.
So tell us something that you have done that we would know, but we didn't know it was you that did it.
Oh, all right. We know why you fly. We're American Airlines.
A commercial for American Airlines.
And here's another one you probably don't know it's me. When you give someone a Lexus, you give them all the memories they'll make with it.
Maurice,
Follow your nose, it always knows. Kellogg's Fruit Loop cereal with natural orange, lemon, and cherry flavors.
talk about commercials. How did you get into commercials? What is that all about?
Well, I was on at the Comedy Store, and really, this was I was going after that, you know, that brass ring of, you know, the sitcom or the movie career, you know, the big thing. And in the audience that night was the voiceover agent from the William Morris Agency, a lady named Nina Nissenholtz, who really made my career. And but this is how it started. She came and said, you know, with all the impressions you do, you obviously have a facility for characters. You can make a lot of money doing voiceovers. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of want to go on Rodney Dangerfield this weekend and do all that, which is what I was doing. I was Rodney's opening act. But I thought, you know, this could be a nice little sideline. Why not? So she sent me out on auditions, and it was a year before I got my first job. But then the first thing I got was this appearance on The Littles, and I got to meet Ebb from Green Acres, and the gentleman who played Hank Kimball. And then I did this thing, Wolf Rock TV, one episode with Wolfman Jack, and I thought, well, these are nice little gigs, and you know, and I was like, wow, I got the checks for like $300 just for sitting in a chair and reading words into a microphone. Then I got Inspector Gadget. And I got 26 straight episodes of Inspector Gadget. I was replacing the Canadian actor who had been the chief in season 1. They recorded the entire first season in Canada, and then finally they brought it down here to the States. And so Don remained, but everybody else changed. So I became the new chief for seasons 2 and 3 of Inspector Gadget, and that was phenomenal because literally every episode was like a DVD extras, you know, commentary track. We'd record 2 pages of dialogue. Somebody would go online, we'd stop. It'd be Frank Welker and me and Don Adams, and then, you know, if we stopped, Don just immediately went into storytelling mode about the making of Get Smart. In fact, if you buy the Get Smart box set and listen to the interviews with Don, every story that's on there, I got to hear in a room about half this size with Don about where you are. I remember the time Rickles and I were chained to a wall. We were shooting an episode and we could not get through the one scene because we cracked each other up. So we went for lunch without getting a single frame that they could use. And they left us chained to the wall. They came back an hour later after having lunch, and we were still laughing. You know, so I got to hear great stories like that. And I thought, this is the greatest job in the world, in a screw stand-up. You know, and this is more money, and and it's easier, and I get to stay in town, I don't have to travel. So, I mean, it developed from that, and then I got another break and went into something that really was 106 episodes. Ghostbusters had been a huge hit. the movie, so they decided, let's make a cartoon of it. And they told everybody, don't do the guys from the movies. They own their voices, don't imitate them. But I decided I don't have any other ideas except imitating. So I did Harold Ramis, and boom, they cast me on the spot for playing Dr. Egon Spengler. I collect spores, mold, and fungus. So I was Egon on Real Ghostbusters for 106 episodes. And I think, off of that, the momentum just kept going. There was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. There was, and then we went right into Tiny Toon Adventures, where that was yum yum yum. And off of Tiny Toons, Spielberg wanted to do something completely original, so he created Animaniacs, and from thence came Pinky and the Brain and the Good Feathers and all those wonderful things. So.
If you go on IMDb and look at what he's done, this is everything that I downloaded to show you.
Is that how long my listing is,
This
really?
is your listing right here.
Holy crap.
It's 20-something pages. Holy
Man.
crap, look at this. All of this stuff he's done.
That's a really large font.
No, yeah. You can see it's a real small font. Okay, this page alone has characters he's done on Futurama. That's page 1. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
These are characters he's done on Futurama, page 2.
Yeah, somebody who had a lot of time.
Is that accurate?
Actually did a character count for every one of us, and apparently I'm only the second most prolific on the show. Actually, Tress MacNeille does more characters than me by 3, but I think I've done 72 characters on Futurama.
And that's page 3.
There you go.
Now,
So.
that means he's got all these guys living up here. And
I should give you the clam sports? No, wait, Clamps. We gotta mafia things up somewhere else.
So now, we'd like to know, we don't get to see very often how a cartoon show is made. We might see some documentaries of, like say, sitcom of MASH. Here they all are going over the read-through of the script the first time, and they give suggestions. Like, we've seen that kind of stuff. What is a typical episode of Futurama from beginning? How do you guys shoot this stuff? And how do you decide, is this a new character? Where am I going to bring this guy in? Tell us how you get together. Or do you even see the other actors? Are you in the same room? Do you come back later? Tell me about the process.
Well, Futurama is probably treated more like a sitcom than anything else I've ever worked on. We actually do a table reading on Tuesday mornings on the Fox lot. We do it in the same room that The Simpsons does theirs on Thursdays, and we have the full cast to the best of our ability. Katie Segal is awfully busy with Sons of Anarchy, but. And Tress MacNeille will read in Leela at those times, but we read it live to an audience of about as many people as are here. We try to invite people in, the artists, the actors, the producers, so we can hear where the funny is. You can't tell if it's funny if nobody laughs. You can only think it's funny. So we read it, we hear where the chuckles are, where the guffaws are. Then the writers go away for 2 days and punch up. Matt is always taking those. He's got a little system of what worked, what didn't work. They go tweak it, and then we go into the studio, and again, we try, if we can, have a full cast recording so we can work off of each other. I don't like to really work on my own. A lot of actors do, and a lot of Disney productions seem to like to just have the actor in the room with, the board and that. I think that acting is about the relationship, and it's about listening. So I always have to have somebody there. And who I'm in the scene with. If I can't have the actual actor, then I've done a couple of DreamWorks features where unfortunately my part got cut out, but I like to have somebody good there with me to read with me, and it was a good actor, not just Well, I find that hard to believe. So anyway, so we record it as an ensemble. We record it scene by scene, the way you do a movie, so that there's a flow, and then people draw really, really fast and really well. Hundreds of people drawing in Korea, and we have a show. And Christopher Ting does the music; he's marvelous, and Ken Keeler writes the specialty songs. He's tremendous, and we've got, I think we've got the funniest show on television. I think it's actually.
We agree.
Woo!
And this year the Emmys actually co-signed that because we won Outstanding Animated Series at the same awards that I was lucky enough to score my little piece of hardware. So it was really quite a celebratory night. Futurama won for both things it was nominated.
And I remember at breakfast at San Diego, he said, by the way, I was nominated for an Emmy, but I'm not going to win. Who else was in the field with you, the nominees?
It was Dan Castellaneta for Homer, Brenda Strong, because all voiceover work is eligible, including narrations. So Brenda Strong for her character on Desperate Housewives, who narrates every episode from the afterlife. Bob Bergen, who does a wonderful job on Porky Pig on the Looney Tunes show. Seth Green, who actually I was sure Seth was going to win. Seth is a genius. Seth not only created and writes Robot Chicken, but he also performs, dozens of characters in the show, and a sweetheart of a guy, just the greatest guy. We, after I won, it's still I'm in that secret identity mode. So I go to one of the receptions, and people are snapping he and his beautiful wife. He's got this gorgeous statuesque wife, snapping them like crazy. And then I come along, and the cameras drop. They figure out some executive or something, or somebody's valet, and he goes, no, this is Maurice. This is Maurice LaMarche. He actually won. This was like in between the creative arts and the prime time. He actually won. You got to snap him. He's the winner. He's the brain. He's Futurama, man. So the guy goes, oh, okay. But you see, he could have been that guy who goes, oh, so you won, huh, fat boy? Nobody still knows who you are. And by the way, you're alone. But he didn't, he's a good guy. So anyway, my money was on him, and I truly hope he wins next year. I really do. So he's great. And then let's see. Oh, and no, it's this upstart named Christopher Plummer. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Christopher, the venerated Christopher Plummer, my fellow Canadian, was up for narrating the documentary Moguls and Movie Stars. So in that field, you can understand how I might feel like, yeah, it's just an honor to be nominated, but it's going to go to one of them. So nobody was more surprised than me.
Did you swear?
I said apparently no effing way. When they said, when John Benjamin from John Benjamin's Got a Van on Comedy Central, he was the presenter, said, and the winner is, the name it goes to. And I was like, keep the smile on your face, keep the smile on your face. It's not going to go to you. It's hopefully Seth. Okay, good. And I was actually going, root for Seth, root for Seth, root for Seth. Maurice LaMarche. I went, no effing way. And I looked over and I had my ex-wife, who I'm still dear friends with. She was, beaming and laughing, and then my son. This is the best moment, by the way. I looked around my ex, and my son was like, yeah. The kid who rolls his eyes and goes, oh God, here we go, the voices. He's like, yeah, and he's like reaching for me. He squeezes my hand, and I was like, wow. And I got up and I kissed the top of his head, and I started to cry. But just then I realized I gotta get up there and say thank you. So that was the best. It was just a moment of an evening of gratitude. So.
Well deserved, as we all know.
Thank you.
For all your hard work. Nothing, the overnight successes that people put 10, 15, 20 years in to get that recognition. We don't do the work for the recognition, but it's nice to get it. And of course,
always
when it validates your son, I'm sure has some modicum of additional respect. Not that he didn't already,
right.
But when you're recognized by your peers for what you do, I'm sure that touches a warm spot in your heart.
Yeah. Well, he's actually, you know what? He sometimes hides it well, but I know for instance, right now he's really proud that I'm Mr. Freeze in Arkham Asylum, or Arkham City, the new game. Yeah. That's right.
So any of you who have it at home, rush home and get it. Bring
I'll
it to
sign
the
it.
store, and he will sign it for you.
I'll sign it for you. $10
Absolutely.
donation, but I will sign it for you.
So,
Anything else you want?
Mr. Freeze, other DC characters you've done.
Well, first, let me just do a quick freeze here.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you ever watched a flower die, Batman? Watched something so beautiful rot from the inside. He's a great character because he's only trying to save his wife, so he's sympathetic. His wife is dying, and he has put her in cryogenic stasis, and in the process has become Mr. Freeze as a result. And so there's something a little bit noble about Mr. Freeze, even though he's willing to kill other people to make sure his wife, and that's his moral failing, of course, you know, and a bit of his psychosis. He's been driven a little mad by what's happened to his wife, because it's partially his fault. So he's a great character, so that's a lot of fun. So yeah, if you haven't got the game, if you're a gamer, this is the best game. And I'd say this if I wasn't, it's the best game of 2011. The graphics are unbelievable. The sound design is incredible. The story is amazing. All the performances are outstanding. And it is the last time you're going to hear Mark Hamill as the Joker. He's officially retired from the Joker. So he doesn't need to do anything anymore, actually. They're about to reissue Star Wars on Blu-ray, and so Mark is going to make all that money all over again. See, George Lucas is the only man in show business who actually gave away a point to each of the three actors without being in their contract. I'm going to give you guys a point in the film. So they've had a point in all three films. So, you know.
And next year on Memorial Day,
Yeah.
the original's coming out in theaters in 3D.
Oh, wow.
So big money for Mark. Again, here we are going to be here again.
Just print it
So
out.
this leads me to a question that I really want to ask you.